Nebraska football is on a 4-game losing streak with 2 matchups left on their season, so it's finally time to have an honest conversation. What happens if Nebraska misses another bowl game? So in today's video, I'm going to discuss the future of this program and have a truthful, honest dialogue with every single one of you. So really quick, we have a lot to talk about. Make sure to hit that like button. Hey, if you're new to the channel or just a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe. I post Nebraska football content every single day through thick or thin. So if you're a diehard fan, make sure to subscribe for the most honest content on Husker YouTube. But without further ado, let's get into the video talking about Nebraska's future and what happens to this program if the Big Red miss yet another bowl game. Now, first things first, I hope this doesn't happen. With every single bone in my body, I hope that Nebraska finds a way to beat Wisconsin or beat Iowa in these next 2 games. However, the fan base is grieving right now, and if you ask any single one of them what their expectations are for these next 2 weeks, all of them will tell you the exact same thing. They expect Nebraska to lose both, likely in a 1-score heartbreaking game, and once again the Huskers to go 5-7 and miss a postseason opportunity. So that's likely what's going to happen. We've already seen this script. We've seen this time and time again. What's going to happen to this program if Nebraska misses another bowl game? What's going to happen to this fan base? What's going to happen to this coaching staff? And what is going to happen to the Big Red? Let's get into it. Well, first things first, Matt Rhule and this coaching staff, they will lose the fan base if they miss another bowl game. That's for sure. They've already started to lose the fan base over the last couple of games. Nobody believes in where this program is going, and why should they? In 2 years under Matt Rhule, he is 0-8 in bowl game clinching matchups. Let me repeat that. He is 0-8. And a lot of those games have been very winnable, just like that USC game, just like the UCLA game. A lot of them are very winnable, and he is 0-8. He has no clutch bone in his body. A lot of this coaching staff, they don't have a clutch bone in their body. And for that reason, you've already seen a lot of fans start to doubt this coaching staff. And can you blame them? Because we just can't win. When push comes to shove, we can't win. As far as I'm concerned, Matt Rhule hasn't been better than Scott Frost as a head coach. Yeah, he's a completely different coach philosophy, or in philosophy. He's a completely different man. He runs a completely different offense, completely different defense. So he's technically a different coach than Scott Frost, but when push comes to shove, he can't win football games. Scott Frost can't win, Matt Rhule can't win. So as far as I'm concerned, they're the same coach. So the fan base is going to stop believing in Matt Rhule pretty quickly if he misses a bowl game. And they'll probably stop showing up. Okay, this fan base has seen a lot of losing over the last couple of years. At some point, they will stop showing up. So, Matt Rhule's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. He's getting paid $8 million a year to be here and supposedly win games. He hasn't really done that. But he's getting paid $8 million a year. He has a lot of power in this athletic department. He's not leaving. He's going to get at least 4 or 5 years, but the fan base is going to stop believing in him pretty quickly, and that's going to result in a lot of other changes. Let's get into it. Second thing, and this is very important, if Nebraska misses another bowl game and goes 5-7, the recruiting will take a massive nosedive. Now, not the 2025 class necessarily. I think the Huskers are going to have probably a top 2025 class no matter what, and that's pretty all right. That's good. But the 2026 class is going to be awful for Nebraska if they miss another bowl game, because they're shooting for the stars. They're trying to get a bunch of 4-star prospects, even a couple 5-stars in that class. Nobody's going to believe in Matt Rhule if he misses another bowl game. Okay, you're playing with house money in year 1. Okay, in year 1, you're just trying to prove that you can make a little bit of progress and do whatever you want. In year 2, you have to start winning. And if he pulls up with the exact same record that he had in year 1 with no improvement, although he has a 5-star quarterback, these recruits aren't stupid. They're not going to believe and they're not going to buy in, and Matt Rhule cannot sell them a vision anymore. It's the same thing that happened in the Scott Frost era. Scott Frost was recruiting very well until the end of that 2019 season, his second year. After we went 5-7 that year, the recruiting started to dip because nobody believed. Nobody believed. And it became very hard for Nebraska to get top 25, top 30 classes even. Same thing is going to happen here. And once recruiting starts to dip, you're screwed as a head coach. You can't recruit, you're done, especially a place like Nebraska. So recruiting is going to tank if Nebraska misses another bowl game. You can't have that happen. Number 3, and this is the unfortunate reality of modern day college football, transfers are going to leave. we're going to have some guys leave the program. And I know a lot of you guys will say, who cares? We lose. I don't care who loses the program. And that's valid. But there's a lot of young players who we haven't even seen play yet for Nebraska who would probably be really, really solid players who are going to leave. Okay, we're going to lose a guy like Ja'Cory Barney. I'm just being honest with you, right? There's going to be a lot of SEC schools that will pay a lot of money for Ja'Cory Barney to transfer to the program. Okay, and he's been our best player on offense. It's a possibility he leaves. It's a possibility that Prince William Manmielen leaves, a guy who I think is an athletic freak and has been underutilized his entire career at Nebraska. There's a reality where Cam Lenhard leaves, where Justin Evans-Jenkins leaves, where Vincent Shavers leaves, a guy who we think is next to Levante David. There's a very big possibility because at the end of the day, these players don't believe. Okay, Matt Rhule is going to begin to lose the locker room if you miss a bowl game. These players don't believe in the coaching staff, but most importantly, these players don't believe in each other. And when that happens, you are screwed, and there's going to be a lot of guys who leave. That's just the unfortunate reality of college football. It becomes instantly harder. If you can't win those first 2 years, you're pretty much screwed for the rest of your tenure because players are going to leave, recruiting is going to tank. That's why I told you guys all offseason how important year 2 was for Matt Rhule. Because if he couldn't make a bowl game in year 2, it's over. Because there are so many things that are going to start to go against him. It becomes 10 times harder for him to rebuild this program. Okay, no longer do you have 5-6 years to rebuild like it's the 2000s anymore. No, it takes 1 or 2 years tops. You look at a lot of these programs, Indiana, Colorado, even Arizona State, they're turning around their programs just like that. Okay, so we're not going to sit here and buy into this crap that takes 5 years. Because it just doesn't, and the boosters aren't going to believe, the fans are going to believe, and the players aren't going to believe. That's most important. Number 4, what's going to happen if Nebraska misses a bowl game? Matt Rhule's going to have to scramble. Okay, he's not getting fired, and I'm not going to sit here and say he should get fired, but he's going to have to scramble and make some changes in this coaching staff. We've already seen him get desperate, get rid of Marcus Satterfield, hire Dana Holgorsen, who wasn't even with the staff 2 weeks ago, and give him the entire reins of the offense. We've never seen anything like that in college football. So he's already getting desperate, but he's going to get a lot more desperate if you lose these next 2 games, right? Ed Foley's probably going to be gone. Garrett McGuire's going to be gone. A couple other positional coaches are going to be gone. And that's a good decision, right? Those coaches are not doing their job, but it begs the question, why didn't he hire a good staff the first time? If Matt Rhule is this great head coach, why didn't he hire a good staff the first time? Okay, a head coach is only as good as their assistant coaches. He made a massive mistake when he got to Lincoln hiring the guys he did. And at the end of the day, we've already seen this experiment play out under Scott Frost. Scott Frost got here, he hired the wrong staff. Over his 5 years with Nebraska, he fired a bunch of them, fired offensive guys, defensive guys, and it just didn't work because it turns out we were blaming all these scapegoats, and Scott Frost was the real poor coach out of all of them. I hate to say it, but it looks like that might happen again with Nebraska, where we sit here and we blame the offensive coordinator. We'll blame the defensive coordinator next. We'll blame the special teams coach. But it turns out, although those coaches aren't that good, our head man isn't that good either. That's just probably the reality behind the situation. That's just what happens in college football, guys. So at the end of the day, man, if Nebraska loses these next 2 games, we're in a really bad spot as a program because the fans will stop believing. They don't want to buy into this 5-year plan. That's crap. That doesn't exist anymore in college football. It takes 1 to 2 years. That's just the bottom line. So you lose the fans. He's going to lose the team. He's going to start being rash and firing coaches when, the finger should be pointed at himself. And then last but not least, he's going to lose the recruits. And when you lose the recruits, it is over. There is no going back from that. If you can't recruit at a place like Nebraska, you can't get top 25, top 30 classes, you are done. You are done, and there's just no way of really coming back from that. So, listen, man, I hope we don't lose these next 2 games. I hope this is kind of a scary tale for all of you if we do lose the next 2. But I'm praying we beat Wisconsin. I'm praying we beat Iowa, and everything I just talked about does not come true. But if we lose these next 2, come back to this video because this is the unfortunate truth about this coaching staff that we're starting to go on a decline if we can't win these next 2 and at least show a little bit of improvement with a 5-star quarterback and a very talented team. And a very easy schedule, by the way. So, all right, guys, that's my video talking about the future if we can't win these next 2 games. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far in the video, shout out to you. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, folks, go Big Red, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.